to order our regular meeting. May I have a roll call, please?
Freeholder Bergen.
Here.
Freeholder Estrada.
Present.
Freeholder Granados.
Here.
Freeholder Jallo.
Here.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Here.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Present.
Freeholder Wright.
Present.
Vice Chairman Hudak. Chairman Carter.
Present.
Chairman, you have 8 freeholders present.
Thank you. Clerk, will you please lead us in prayer and a salute to the flag?
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk, will you please read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act?
Chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of New Jersey statutes annotated Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2013, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2013 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2013 for the Office of the County Clerk.
Thank you. On the agenda, there was a presentation from the board. We will, if they arrive in a little while, we will move back to that if the board is okay with that. So we'll move right down and we'll move to approval of communications. May I have a motion to approve communications?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Freeholder Kowalski, second by Freeholder Mirabella. May I have a roll call, please?
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Yes.
Freeholder Jallo.
Yes.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Freeholder Wright.
Yes.
Chairman Carter.
Yes.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. We'll move down to our approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of Thursday, September the 12th, 2013 agenda setting meeting, Thursday, September the 19th, 2013 regular meeting, Thursday, September the 26th, 2013 agenda setting meeting, and also regular meeting.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been moved by Freeholder Mirabella, second by Freeholder Kowalski. May I have a roll call, please?
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Yes.
Freeholder Jallo.
Aye to all those except the agenda setting meeting on September 26th and the regular meeting on September 26th.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Freeholder Wright.
Yes.
And Chairman Carter.
Yes.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative with the exception of the minutes for the September 26th agenda and regular meetings, with 7 votes in the affirmative with 1 abstention.
Thank you. We do have an ordinance for introduction this evening. Clerk, I am going to ask that you read the ordinance 754, 2013 by title, but I believe you will be making a statement prior to reading.
Yes, Chairman. For the board members and for the members of the public, this on October 10th, the board passed an ordinance, the same exact ordinance, and we received notification earlier this week from the DEP that while the solid waste ordinance was published in accordance with the law, that there was an error relative to the statement of the public hearing, and as a result, the board will have to pass the same exact ordinance. The DEP has assured me that they would continue their review of this application in anticipation of passing the same ordinance.
Okay, thank you. And before you read the ordinance, please let the record show that Vice Chair Hudak has arrived on the dais.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you will now read the ordinance 754, 2013 by title, please.
Ordinance number 754, 2013, amendment to the Union County District Solid Waste Management Plan to, one, reaffirm the prior inclusion of the New Jersey Meadowlands Commission landfill and disposal facilities in Kearney, New Jersey, as the county's designated facilities to which solid waste types 13, 13C, 23, and 27 are directed. Two, include the solid waste disposal services agreement by and between the Union County Utilities Authority and the New Jersey Meadowlands Commission for the disposal of solid waste types 13, 13C, 23, and 27 disposal services. And three, to direct all solid waste types 13, 13C, 23, and 27 to the New Jersey Meadowlands Commission landfill and disposal facilities in Kearney, New Jersey, for the disposal pursuant to regulatory waste flow control.
Thank you. At this time, Vice Chairman Hudak, will you please move ordinance 754-2013 for first reading?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move ordinance number 754-2013 for first reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law. The final reading and public hearing are scheduled for December the 5th, 2013.
May I have a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Freeholder Hudak and seconded by Freeholder Mirabella. May I have a roll call, please?
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados. Freeholder Jallo.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Freeholder Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Hudak.
Aye.
And Chairman Carter.
Yes.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. The meeting is open to the public for the purpose of commenting on resolutions being offered for adoption this evening. Kindly state your name and town of residence for the record and the resolution to which you are referring, and please adhere to the 5-minute time limit.
Good evening, Madam Chairman. It's Tom Getzendanner. I'm pinch hitting for Dave Baumgars from Summit. He's our ranking councilman and longtime chair of our finance committee, but he couldn't make it at the last minute. We're the biggest taxpayer of the 21 towns in your county. Fully 28% of Summit's gross levy gets passed along to you. Therefore, we get crowding out very valuable local services such as fixing up our community center rehabilitation and also perhaps offering full-day kindergarten. So, before I get into some resolution comments, I want to thank you for resurfacing the 2 major county roads in our town. Baldwin and Summit Avenue came out great. They're vital thoroughfares, and they were completed on time, on schedule. So thank you for that. Another thing I'd like to comment on is that Bryant Pond in Summit is one of the 8 dams being re-inspected under Resolution 914 tonight. We're also glad that towns can have free use of the county's 911 dispatch center during temporary outages, which is what Resolution 927 is going to do tonight. However, 8 of your 66 bundled resolutions do warrant further conversation. Here they are. Let's look at Resolution 884. This is the one that secures more funding for Reynolds Hospital, but unfortunately Trenton is ending this entire grant program, I think next June 30th next year, poking yet another $300,000 hole in Reynolds' budget. If you look at Resolution 889, it's spending $34,000 on group life insurance accident coverage for employees not in the PERS. Summit, by the way, is phasing out all such extra benefits above state plan. If you look at Resolutions 892 through 898, these are 7 expensive resolutions totaling $139,000, none of which would be necessary if Reynolds Hospital were privatized. Secondly, another resolution, 900 even, spends $21,000 on another module from Edmunds Accounting. Could you please use the custom report writer already available in your installed software to render actual versus budget snapshots each month? This is something we do in Summit with regularity. If you look at resolution number 908, this is the one that's going to raise salaries 1.6% for 2014. Summit does not automatically grant cost of living increases, especially during recessions. Even 1.5% increase would be something more than taxpayers can afford. And last, 2 more things, Mr. Chairwoman. Look at resolution number 912. This is the one that lowers dental insurance premiums 5.9%, which is a good trend for next year. But the program still costs you $1.5 million. The private sector is phasing out this benefit entirely because it's no longer cost effective. High deductibles, large copay visits, something you might want to consider. Resolution number 919, 918 is amending Kemper Sports Management contract by 10% to run your golf courses. I think it's very important, Madam Chairman, to realize that Morris County is laying off 36 employees and privatizing all of their 3 golf facilities, which would obviate Kemper's entire $5.7 million contract if Union County did follow suit. And lastly, Madam Chairwoman, if you look at resolution number 921, it's asking the Northern New Jersey Transportation Planning Authority for $300,000 to update your transportation plan. Last time this was revised in 2002, I'm afraid it was foolishly tried to reactivate the abandoned Rahway Valley Railroad, known as the RVR freight train, terminating here in Summit. We hope that that facility is not thought about again. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take a look at a couple of them that raised questions. In reference to the runnels, as you may be aware, we do have an RFP to really, and we are delving into some of the things that are going on with Runnels Hospital and trying to really close that gap that we currently are facing. So we are addressing that issue. Would you agree with that, County Manager?
I would, Madam Chair, that's correct.
Okay. We can have, who do you want to have come up first? Do you want me to have Phoebe come up first? Or
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Okay,
there's
Director Taylor?
a number of different people for different reasons.
Okay.
I tried
Or if
to-
you want to talk about.
A couple I'll do. I'll
Okay.
Frank, maybe me.
Go right ahead, Director Taylor.
Through you, Madam Chair, the resolution that pertains to the Edmonds module, it's not a new module that we utilize, it's actually an existing module that the county has implemented for online requisitions because we have a whole host of remote departments. All departments and divisions have access to enter their requisitions through the requisition module, thereby allowing for the purchasing and finance department to see all items and ensure that they are in compliance with the budget, as well as the accounts receivable module. This is only a $558 increase from last year's contract. It's a renewal, and it's something that we utilize as a central repository for all of our financial records.
Thank you. Director Dorado?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Through you, Chairman, there's 2 questions that were asked. Resolution 908, as the board asked last week, this resolution is not raises for non-contractual employees. This is only modifying the salary guide itself. It's the structure on which payments are made. In 1992, the board passed the structure, and the structure itself is raised by CPI. Salaries do not adjust. And as for the dental question, the county provides its employees a base dental plan, and the employees are then free to add up either on their own plan or add dependents. Of this number on the budget tonight, the county pays 24%, and the employees contribute 76% of the number here. So the county share is $348,000, and the employees, I believe, is $1.1 million. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Guzzo?
If I may, Madam Chair,
Yeah.
884 of Frank, the one peer grouping for Reynolds.
Members of the board, 884 is peer grouping, and as the gentleman spoke earlier, we are quite concerned over the ending of that peer grouping funding, probably effective June 30th of 2014. That funding historically has provided backbone social service programs for the county. This board, like no other board in the state, has allocated a good portion of those dollars for social service programming. By statute, only 10% has to go, but you've allocated much more over the years, and it provides everything from mental health counseling for individuals that are incarcerated to homeless program and services, and basically it allows us to pick up gaps that exist in Union County that are not covered by any other grant source. So without peer grouping, there is the potential for individuals within this county not to be served through various programs that, again, are not covered by various federal and state funding sources that come into the county already. Thank you.
Yeah,
you want,
I'll take the
on
last
Monday?
2 if you
Okay.
919, with regard to Kemper, Armando's here, so correct me if I misspeak or anything. This is because we are making profit, so therefore by contract, they're entitled to a percentage of that. Is that correct, Armando? No?
Not necessarily, through you, Madam Chair. The additional 527,000 is for operational costs through the remainder of the year, which is a combination of salaries as well as cost of goods for food and beverage services. The additional 527 is going to allow us to realize an additional $750,000 in revenue that we had not anticipated as well. So you're going to see a net gain of about 187,000 off of that 527. So we'll finish the year at 6.3 million in revenue, where we had anticipated at the beginning of the year at only 5.6 million.
And with regard to 922, trust me, that plan won't have anything in there about reactivating that, Councilman. I can assure you that. Right, Rick?
No, it will not.
Right, because I like my job. Right?
Anyone else wishing to come before the board and speak at this time in reference to resolutions?
Good evening, Freeholders, Madam Chairman. My name is Linda Flores-Tober from the Elizabeth Coalition to House the Homeless, and I'm here to speak on the Resolution 2013-889 regarding Code Blue. I came here to thank you for continuing to fund the Code Blue program of the Department of Human Services. And when I was thinking about coming here to thank you, I was reflecting on the beginning. The beginning of Code Blue started on the Christmas of 2002, a cold and rainy Christmas, when a woman died of exposure, a homeless woman. Her name was Beverly Hennick, and she lived on the church steps near the corner where she was the crossing guard. While there are many details surrounding why Ms. Hennick died and was unable to secure housing, the bottom line is she died on our watch, all of our watch. And this, to me, was unacceptable. And so together with other organizations, we've got together and we formed Operation Warm Heart, which continues to be very successful in the county, and we started our own Code Blue. Well, needless to say, a small social service agency cannot run a Code Blue. But we persisted in talking about it, and lo and behold, the freeholders, particularly Angel Estrada, came to us and said, we'll have a Code Blue. And with the Department of Human Services, we have a Code Blue. And in fact, we're the only place in all of New Jersey that does that. So I think that's very significant. For me, every winter, lives are saved because of Code Blue. Beverly did not die in vain. And so for that, I thank you, and the coalition thanks you. Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman Carter, and freeholders, Jim Bittner, Cranford. I'd like to start off addressing questions to Resolution 891. $75,615 being spent out of the Open Space Trust Fund. I was wondering what percentage of that number, that particular number there, is being used by the different municipalities to preserve open space, purchase open space. And then piggybacking on that question, I was wondering how many dollars did we spend last year and how many acres did we preserve in the Open Space Trust Fund, just for last year? I'm just curious. Two questions there. Okay. Resolution 908. I'm echoing Tom Getzigamer's point of view on this. It seems like we just keep spending and spending on these salaries. Let's just take for a snapshot example. The spokesperson for Governor Christie makes a salary of $110,103. The county spokesperson makes a salary of $113,648. Right then and there, you can see that I believe we're overpaying our employees yet again by 10%, and we're going to increase their salaries another 1.6%. Kind of interesting. Numbers don't lie. Let's see if I have anything else that I'd like to talk to. No, that's it for now. I'll speak to my other issues later on this evening, but I would appreciate if you would answer my questions.
You want Vicki to come up? Vicki, in reference to 891?
Good evening, Chair. Resolution 891 refers to Greening Union County Grant Program. That has to do with the planting of trees throughout the municipality. This specific grant is including Scotch Plains, the municipality of Scotch Plains, who did not apply in time to get included last week when the last meeting when the grant went through. It's $4,000 to Scotch Plains. It's a matching grant, and the other $4,000 is for the County of Union for trees throughout the county parks. It's not an acquisition grant.
The other information, even though it does pertain, but it really doesn't, he was asking for the percentage used to purchase open space currently. You may need to go back and possibly get that information. If you could provide it to me and we'll get it out to him, okay?
I would, and to further answer the question, the county has preserved 313 acres of open space since the inception of the trust fund, and none of those purchases took place this year. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe we've already addressed 908. I believe that was more of a comment towards that one. So anyone else wishing to speak at this time?
Pat Moschetti, New Providence, good evening. Resolution 908, I know someone just mentioned that it's not changing salaries, but there are a few examples, I would believe, and tell me if I'm wrong, that salaries would change. If you have a person who is a new hire, comes in 2014, they would get that higher salary range than 2013. Also, if a person currently enrolled is promoted, and they would have to be given a salary at least to the lowest level. If it's going up 1.6%, they're going to get a 1.6% additional raise besides the promotion. And lastly, in terms of salaries, what mechanism do you use to change salaries for non-contractual employees? Is there a performance evaluation system in place? And how do we determine who gets what? Thank you.
Director Dorado.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The question with promotions, every year the county does evaluations of its non-contractual employees. The immediate supervisor does the evaluation with the division director and the department head. Those evaluations are done and scored, and that would proceed if there are non-contractual raises in a given year. Those evaluations lend itself to that raise.
Anyone else wishing to speak at this time?
Good evening, Chairwoman Carter, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood. Congratulations, by the way, Chairwoman Carter, Freeholder Kowalski, and Freeholder, newly elected Freeholder Granados. I don't recall you running with a mustache, but obviously things change, you know. Let's see, page 3, on the top 885, I was here when you were discussing it, and you mentioned the grant monies being distributed would be a 100% match by the municipalities. I'm always on the case of why making government entities match, only because the grant money's coming down from tax money, and then the towns have to actually match the tax money with more tax money. I think something's wrong with that. I'd like to know why you're making it 100% match. There may be a state mandate, but you know, I'd like to know that. 889 on the same page 3 on the bottom. It's about the countywide code blue, and yes, you're the only county on the forefront of this. But as I've mentioned before, when it comes to the sheriff's office and the police department, you're the last county to actually think about combining it. So I mean, you know, you claim you're on the forefront of all these things, and yet you're lagging on that other issue. on page 5. Yeah, 899, $587,000. It's a correction. I remember it was like 578,000. Now it's 580,000. City of Plainfield for a paving project. I just like to know, Cranford and Garwood has a street. They share a street called Galloping Hill Road. It's 1 block long. It needed paving. They both chipped in a couple of $1,000s, and the first people they went to is the county, because you do paving, and I'm looking at here, and you do paving, and yet the county said no, thank you. They turned us down. I mean, this was a perfect time for sharing services, and you turned Cranford and Garwood down. I'd like to know the reason why it was turned down. Possibly it was Director Graziano could answer that one. 901 on page 5. 901, is he here? Everybody's laughing. 901, 902, 903, 904. As Freeholder Marabella mentioned last week, that's modifying the budget to the tune of about $200,000. My question is, was this money already included in the budget, or is it coming in and hopefully offsetting some of the tax burden of our overburdened residents? Page 6, on the very top, 908, that seems to be a favorite resolution tonight, about the non-contractual salary ranges. I do understand. I was here last week when you explained it. However, you did mention, I think Director Dorado did mention that there are actually 2 people that are affected, that now they are below the range that was increased. So some people are having their salary increased. Page 7 on the top, number 918. Again, this is the Galloping Hill Banquet and Catering Hall. Kemper Sports is getting another $500,000 for $5.7 million. Director Armando Sanchez mentioned $6.3 million revenue. I'm looking at $5.7 million being paid out to Kemper Sports. It looks like there's a $600,000 difference, which sounds like revenue to us. But I'm just wondering, is this actual revenue, or are there other costs that are with like debt or such that's just going to suck that right up? And I just want to mention previously, somebody said there's 55 events taking place at this Galloping Hill Banquet Hall this year. So that's telling me you're taking 55 events away from private enterprises of catering and other banquet halls. So you're actually hurting the private enterprises with what you're doing. So it's not really any gain at all. You're hurting. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I figured that you were jumping quick.
It's like Graziano wants to go first. Through you, Madam Chair. That's actually the first time I'm hearing of this, of that road being asked of me to give a shared service. There isn't one town in this county that have not done shared service with paving and especially Cranford and Garwood. I mean, I work very, very closely with both of those townships, with their administrators, with their public works directors, and again, if there's any road that needs to be done, every town's called me, so I don't know who Mr. Patterson is talking about has called me and that I said no, because it would have to come through me. I would have to say no, and I did not say no to Cranford or Garwood to do a shared service for Galloping Hill Road, because we would clearly do it with our manpower. They could buy the blacktop. We've done it in multiple towns within the county. There isn't one town in this county that could say that we have not helped them out with shared service of paving. So I'd be glad to speak to Mr. Patterson after the meeting or right now to find out what that's about, to just to get that cleared up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Director Taylor?
Through you, Madam Chair, Resolution 2013-900 to 2013-904. These resolutions were not incorporated in the adopted budget. Point in fact, these resolutions are to modify the 2013 budget. The funds articulated in the resolution do not supplant county and tax dollars.
Thank you. It's okay. Director Dorado?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, last week I did mention there are three employees out of the 478 non-contractual employees whose current salary falls below this, and they would be adjusted upwards. But again, this is 3 of the 476. This is not an across-the-board 1.6% raise increase.
Vice Chair?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just from a past life, I have some background with the municipal alliances, and I can tell Mr. Patterson that the funding for the municipal alliances are not tax dollars. They are funded through the Drug Enforcement Demand Reduction Fund, which is when someone is convicted of a drug crime, those funds are placed into a pot of money, and that goes into anti-drug education. And the match is not required by Union County, it's required by the state of New Jersey. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we covered everything. Armando? 918, Armando? Mr. Sanchez?
918.
Or do you want Ms. Taylor to speak on that?
Not sure.
Okay.
It is all operational expenses for the year, that 5.7 million.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak at this time?
Tina Rana Cranford, 888s and 889, is funding for homeless. And the code blue, I'd like to know, are these county tax dollars, or are they state or federal, these pass-through grants? How much is actually coming from county taxes? And I'd like to point out, Mr. Patterson congratulated you on your recent win. I would like to add, in light that this $60,000 is about as much money as you spent on your re-election campaign through the Union County Alliance on a mailer that was sent out a week before election.
Is that referring to?
889. You're spending $60,000 on Code Blue, and I'd just like to point out the monies that you could further use on homeless. I mean, Union County is getting poorer. Taxes are regressive. We all pay the same amounts, no matter our ability to pay. There's no reason for you, with the demographics of Union County, you easily win your elections. If you call it winning, you're practically appointed. There's no reason for you to be spending tax dollars.
You can bring that back up at the end.
No, I brought it up. I think you got the point. You spent just as much money on your re-election campaigns. You could have used that towards helping people instead. It's gavonish of you.
Any other resolutions you'd like to bring up? Thank you. Director Guzzo?
Madam Chair, members of the board, I believe it was 888 was one. Those are state dollars, not county dollars. They're state dollars that come in specifically for those purposes. 889, I believe, Code Blue, that is county dollars. That comes out of the Department of Social Services Welfare, but I'll give you an indication of how costly that program is. Last year, we had to call 61 shelter nights, or Code Blue, that met the criteria. 250 nights and 125 people were sheltered as a result of us calling that, and we spent $6,600 for the entire season. And as a result of that, 125 people were able to come in for the cold. And was there another resolution?
It's 888 and 889.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak at this time?
Okay, yeah, John Berry, Kenilworth. Just to finish up this 918, expecting on Galloping Hill and the, 5.7 going to Kemper. I think the questions that we're trying to get out here is, as far as total golf, Kemper gets some stuff, but what about everything else? Do you have a fix on how much, I don't know, golf consultants fixing up bunkers that you have to do, what you buy by yourself, what you put into there? What's the 2013 total? You make 6.3, you gave Kemper 5.7. How much more has been spent on golf, roughly, just an estimate, in 2013? That was it.
County Manager?
Again, perhaps a combination of Director Taylor and Sanchez to answer that question, please.
you, Madam Chair. The expenses associated with golf are enumerated in the budget document and are also encompassed in the capital budget. Unfortunately, I don't have the aggregate for the 2013 expenses, but I'd be happy to present that to the board.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak at this time?
Hi, Maria Echeverria Elizabeth. 913. That's for some type of food service for the Union County Jail. That's over $1 million. Now, just asking, how many inmates are there? Because from my understanding, it was like $1 or $2 to feed an inmate a day. So, just wondering on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
George Valgaris is here.
Mr. Valderas?
Good evening, Madam Chair, through you. The present population of the Union County Jail in-house as of today is approximately 643 inmates. Our total population distributed to other facilities is approximately 100, more than that, approximately 750 total. That is a significant reduction over the course of the last year and a half. We pay at this time $1.23 per inmate per meal.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak at this time? Seeing no one, I will close that portion of the meeting. May I have a motion to adopt resolutions 2013-880 through 2013-944?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been moved by Freeholder Mirabella, seconded by Freeholder Hudak. May I have a roll call, please?
Freeholder Bergen.
Abstain as to 884, 886, and 888, and yes as to the remainder.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Yes.
Freeholder Jallo.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella.
Aye.
Freeholder Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Hudak.
Aye.
And Chairman Carter.
Yes.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative with the exception of resolutions 884, 886, 880-2013, with 8 votes in the affirmative and 1 abstention.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to ask Freeholder Mirabella to come forward, and we will have a Freeholder presentation.
Thank you, Wayne. Can I have Jasmine Carrington come forward, please? Hi, Jasmine. I wanted to bring to the county's attention, my fellow freeholders and the people in the audience, people may see this on TV, the heroic act that Jasmine performed as a student at the Academy for Performing Arts at our vocational schools. She noticed that a student was choking and actually performed the Heimlich maneuver and potentially saved that student's life. And I was invited to the Board of Education meeting where she was honored, Jasmine was honored, earlier this month or maybe late last month and couldn't attend. So I said, how about if we have you come to the Freeholder meeting? I want to recognize you properly by this county. And, it's very brave of you to, first of all, I think, to have that skill and training to perform the Heimlich. So I know you went through in Scotch Plains, I believe, to get the training. And then have all your, wits about you to recognize the student in trouble and jump in and help them. And I'm very proud of you. I'm sure the rest of the board is very proud of you. And I wanted to give you this resolution, but first I want to see if you can just say a couple of words. Maybe I should have asked you before. Just about how you felt when you did this and just how it all happened. I think we'd all be more interested in that.
Hello. It was very strange. I will say, it was actually at a rehearsal. My high school is putting on a Midsummer Night Dream for our fall play production, and I was not supposed to be at that rehearsal. I had to come in for some costume fittings, and the student ran in and said somebody was choking outside, and we were all kind of in shock. And then everybody ran out, and it was a very scary sight. I have to say, I was not prepared for it, but I did ask. I'm trained in CPR. Would you like me, first aid? Would you like me to help you? And he nodded yes, and then I helped him, and then he was perfectly fine right after. So.
That's really fantastic, and it also is the indicative of the caliber of student we have at those high schools. And Jasmine, you're a great example to set for other students around there. So I want to present this resolution, and then we'll take a picture.
Thank you so much, and thank you for, being able to actually use your instincts combined with everything else and your courage to go and help someone else. So we on the board do appreciate you. We will now move down to our public comment portion. The meeting is open to the public for the purpose of commenting on any matter. Kindly state your name and town of residence for the record, and please adhere to the 5-minute time limit.
Chairman,
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Before we get started,
if I may, I just want to clarify the vote on the resolutions, that the abstentions, in the vote of 8 votes in the affirmative, 1 abstention, that was for resolutions 884, 886, and 888.
okay,
I just
for all
wanted to
three
clarify
of
that
those.
for the record.
Okay. And the rest of them was 1 abstention and everything?
Was 9
Nine.
9 up.
Thank you. Okay.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman. Again, it's Tom Getzendana from Summit. I want to report to you that our City Hall just set specific goals, tops-down goals for 2014. We do this because even though they're not binding, we like to have a front-end control of our budget process. Austerity remains our #1 priority because Summit's largest taxpayer, the Merck Company, is leaving town. Last year, both City Hall and our Board of Ed towed the line, coming in with negligible increases, and yet Summit's all-in tax levy still rose 1.7%. And I'm sorry to say, Madam Chairwoman, it was because the equalized apportionment from freeholders went up in our town's case 8.5%. It just simply can't happen again. So please, Madam Chairwoman, when you mark up Bud 14 at the county level, please require no more than $318 million in tax revenues. That's a lot of money. You can accomplish a lot of things. It's not much more than you're already raising this year, but the pie that you're dealing with is so large you can accomplish much holding it flat. Don't use any cap waivers like most constituent towns like Summit already voluntarily forego. Please don't use the waivers. We hope that Al and Bibi can visit with Chris Cotter, our city administrator, before year end this year and come and see how they do it. This doesn't have to be a political event, it's staff to staff. We're more than happy to share with you our concept of forward budgeting. Placeholders, not binding, of course. We don't pass our budget until March or April next year. But you need to get a hand on the control process now so that Mr. Failer, when he builds his budget, doesn't overbuild it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Short guy's got to go first before Tom.
Can you please state
Yes. Good evening, Chairwoman Carter, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood, and I'll let you bask in the glow, so I won't really say anything tonight. I'll save it. But just two items. One is Director Taylor came up and she talked about supplanting the amending the budget does not supplant the taxes. I mean, when she talks, I can see everybody's eyes glaze over. But I mean, I just would like her to come up and tell us what supplant means. I mean, I'm not an Einstein here. I'm just a little schmaloli. So, another, your vote that you're asking for the ordinance 754-2013 about the Meadowlands Commission landfill and the disposal. You have it set for December 5th. From what I understand, that's going to be an agenda-setting meeting. And for some reason, if there's going to be public comment, that shouldn't be at the agenda-setting meeting. It should be at a regular meeting. So I'm asking you to push it back to whatever regular meeting date it is, so at least the public that does come here will be able to speak, because rare does the public show up on the agenda setting. Thank you very much.
Just to let you know, we will push it back for you. We'll keep it to December the 5th because that's a double meeting. So, yeah. We'll just push it back a little bit later for you, not at 7. Okay? Anyone else?
Pat Moschetti, Providence. I'd ask the board secretary to give each person on the dais 2 pages that I like to read today, and it's something I'd like you to reflect on, to think about, because this is basically reality, and it's in an everyday sense. It's called Our Tax System Explained, Barstool Economics. Every day 10 men go out for beer after work, and the bill for all 10 comes to $100. If they paid their bill the way we pay our taxes, it would go something like this. First 4 men, who are the poorest, pay nothing. The 5th would pay $1. The 6th would pay $3. The 7th would pay $7. The 8th would pay $12. The 9th would pay $18. And the 10th man, the richest, would pay $59. So that's what they decided to do. 10 men drank in the bar every day and seemed quite happy with the arrangement until one day the owner threw them a curve. Since you are all good customers, he said, I'm going to reduce the cost of your daily beer by $20. Drinks for the 10 now will cost you $80 instead of $100. The group still wanted to pay their bill the way we pay our taxes, so the first 4 men were unaffected. They don't pay anything. They would still drink for free. What about the other 6 men, the paying customers? How can they divide the $20 in windfall so that everyone would get their fair share? They realized that $20 divided by 6 is $3.33, but if they subtracted that from everyone's share, then the 5th and the 6th man would each end up being paid to drink their beer. So the bar owner suggested that it would be fair to reduce each man's bill by roughly the same amount, and he proceeded to work out the amounts each would pay. And so, the 5th man, like the first 4, would not pay anything, 100% savings. The 6th man would now pay $2 instead of $3. He would save 33%. The 7th now would pay 5 instead of 7, 28% savings. The 8th person would pay 9 instead of 12, 25% savings. The 9th person would pay 14 instead of 18, 22% savings. And the person who would pay the most would pay 49 instead of 59, a 16% savings. Each of the 6 was better off than before, and the first 4 continued to drink for free. But once outside the restaurant, the men began to compare their savings. I only got $1 out of 20, declared the 6th man. He pointed to the 10th man, but he got $10. Yeah, that's right, exclaimed the 5th man. I only saved $1 too. It's unfair that he got 10 times more than I got. That's true, shouted the 7th man. Why should he get $10 back when I get only 2? The wealthy get all the breaks. Wait a minute, yelled the first 4, the ones who don't pay. We didn't get anything at all. The system exploits the poor. The 9 men surrounded the 10th man, the richest, and beat him up. Next night, the 10th man didn't show up for drinks, so the 9 men sat down and had beers without him. But when it came time to pay the bill, they discovered something important. They didn't have enough money between all of them for even half of the bill. At that, ladies and gentlemen, journalists, college professors, whoever's listening, this is how our tax system works. The people who pay the highest taxes get the most benefit from a tax reduction. Tax them too much, attack them for being wealthy, and they just may not show up anymore, i.e. leave. In fact, they may start drinking overseas where the atmosphere is somewhat friendlier. Berkeley Heights is a very small example of some people who want to leave. Think about this, reflect on it, think how the tax structure is done, and think how it, if you take away from the top, you can't give to the poor because they have the ability to leave. Leave to Florida, they leave to Delaware. They don't have to stay in Union County, and your whole ball of wax falls apart. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak at this time?
Yeah, John Berry, Kenilworth. I just have one topic. I was looking through the check registry, and in September 2013, there were 3 payments totaling $265,114 to the Union County Improvement Authority for what was called 213 CAM cost for social. I don't know what that is. I'd like to know an explanation of what that is. Maybe it's common area maintenance. Somebody said, what did the county pay the UCIA $265,000 for? And that ties into the Union County Improvement Authority approved bills for October and November just came out, like they were on the website just a couple days ago. And one of the payments was October 14th, a month after all this CAM stuff that they got. $330,000 was paid to Wells Fargo Bank. Now, switch to the official statement on the last bond offering, and it said that the renewable energy bonds, 14.75, like $15 million, they defaulted, and the county guaranteed those bonds. And it looks like the $330,000 kind of ties into the start of the payments, which are going to be like $1.2 million over, semi-annually probably. So the questions, the renewable energy that people were selling, that Dakota's Fitzpatrick was selling like 3 years ago, it just blew up. So the questions are, were you aware of this at all? Because I didn't see anything, anywhere about if they default, it would come to you, I presume. Has anything ever come on the default of these bonds and the county guarantee? Because it looks pretty much like a payment was made October 15th, $330,000 through the UCIA, but the county fronted them what looks like $265,000. And the other thing is, this is going to wind up with all the payments and all the legal fees and everything, probably $20 million overall over the however many years with the bond repayments. And not everybody took the solar panels. That is, you went, I guess, to Summit, and they didn't want them. Kenilworth didn't want them, and a lot of others. But apparently, everybody's going to be picking up this $20 million tab. Is that the case, or is there a plan to just have the people who mistakenly took these panels, like in Cranford, let's say, or pretty much the rest of Union County? Is that going to be repaid by only them or by everybody? And that's my one topic. Thank you.
Director Taylor?
Through you, Madam Chair. The CAM charges that were referenced by Mr. Burry are common area maintenance fees paid by the county to the UCIA for the Park Madison project. where we have office space there. Additionally, there are operating expenses which are part of the county budget to help supplement the UCIA operations. So that's what the 265 represents. It's important to note, however, that the solar energy project, the county's guarantee, was not invoked. The solar energy project still continues to receive revenues from the local units for their energy fees. Additionally, the UCIA did make the payment for the October 15th principal and interest payment from cash on hand coupled with the local unit revenues. The county does continue to have we do closely monitor this item, and we do work cooperatively with the UCIA in identifying the revenue stream and ensuring that the upcoming year debt service payments will be made.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Tina Renner Cranford. You're reinstating the deputy county manager position. There's been no information offered to the public about that. You waited to a week after election day to do it. It's my understanding that Assistant County Counsel Norm Albert is going to take over the Director of Administrative Services position, which Matt Dorado is leaving. In the past, this person would also be the Deputy County Manager. I just would appreciate, without having to, well, I'll do it anyway, but tonight you really do owe the public an explanation, especially with all these questions about your spending. What exactly this person is going to be doing, this Deputy County Manager? Is it a part-time job? Is it a full-time job? What else will he be doing? His background is he's the former Public Information Officer for the Mayor of Elizabeth, so what else is he going to be doing besides being a Deputy County Manager, which was always a part-time job unless it was coupled with another department to oversee. I'd also like an update on what happens with your former Director of Facilities Management. Have you replaced him? He resigned in October. He resigns on September 27th, and then on October 2nd, everyone found out, including you, that he pled guilty in federal court. You had no idea he was involved in this. He was filing false purchase orders for goods that were never received, and then the vendor was then paying him. So this happened a month ago. Who is his replacement? Who is investigating what exactly happens? What amounts of dollars does it cover? Were other vendors involved? You've had a month to look at this. You haven't apologized to the public. You had no idea this was happening. You found out like the rest of us when he pled guilty in federal court. You had no idea this was going on. He worked, pretty much up until the day he pled guilty. So I'd like an update on that, what steps you have taken to see what exactly happens and what the cost involved with that was. So I'd like an update on that, and I'd also like an explanation for the new Deputy County Manager position, including dollars. And I'd just like to go back to the last statement I made about your spending almost, I guess it's $50,000 you spend on that mailing you do right before your elections, and you do it through a pass-through grant to the Union County Alliance. And this is pretty much all they do historically, is help you with your elections. So it's $60,000 for Code Blue. $60,000 you spend over $1.25 million every single day. So I can't congratulate you for spending a mere pittance on homeless people. There's so much more you could do for them. In fact, I would challenge that, just in this area alone around this building, I would say 5 square miles, you would find much poverty. I mean, when you raise taxes, you're also raising the taxes on the poor. It's the reason they become homeless. It's the reason why they can't feed their families. It's your tax and spend policies that cause them to suffer. So I would ask you to rethink the things you do. There was no reason for you to do that mailer. You didn't need it. It's evil.
is what it is. Thank you.
County Manager?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I requested to fill the Deputy County Manager position at this time because, as was mentioned, there are a number of individuals who have departed. There's also another department head who has got some personal issues right now and has been out for some time. So to answer the question, Mr. Reyes will be assisting me, but he will also be taking on a number of duties in both parks and economic development. In terms of moving forward, I am in the process of completing a reorganization plan with respect to the entire county. I will provide that information and discuss that with freeholders. And as a result of that, Mr. Reyes will be taking on additional duties, which will include being a department head as well as being Deputy County Manager. Also, with regard to his qualifications, Mr. Reyes served also as Director of Policy and Planning and Economic Development and Neighborhood Services, I believe, for the City of Elizabeth. Thank you.
Thank you. In reference to the employee who pled guilty in federal court, we will not be speaking in reference to that. They did resign their position prior to that. But I can say this, that the county has and continues to put measures in place. And like we have said before, we do not tolerate those who steal from our county. And there are measures in place that we have put in place, especially our asset management system over the last year. I can tell you this, that at the beginning of the year, I challenged my policy chair to make sure that they are making sure that our policies and procedures have been reviewed and also have been reviewed with all of our departments. And with anything, we will make sure that we take full action and for any employee who abuses our system. Anyone else wishing to speak at this time?
Good evening, Chairwoman, Freeholders, Jim Bittner, Cranford. I'd like to revisit something that I brought up on the October 3rd meeting, which was a full accounting of the cost to build the new Galloping Hill Country Club in Kenilworth. At that meeting, I was told I could expect the full costs for all expenses incurred for building all the buildings that went on being built over there. I personally did not get an answer to my question, either through email, fax, or letter from the county manager. I learned in a subsequent meeting that the banquet hall over there cost $25 million, and the learning center cost this and this and that. I was looking for the full hard and soft costs related to all of the goings-on in the golf operations. Just this evening in Resolution 918, we see that due to the golf operations earning a greater profit, that the Kemper Sports are going to be paid an increased amount of $527,000, bringing their share to almost $6 million. What it seems that no one seems to get is that, yes, there's a profit to every line, to every ledger, and there's also an expense line to every ledger. And it doesn't seem like the county is including, for instance, the debt service, advertising, labor, signage, course renovations, architectural services. Those are the soft costs. They're not the hard costs for actually building the building. You and I have been going back and forth now in email. I'll put it this way. I've been sending you emails. Some of them have been deemed worthy of a reply. Most have not. You do state in one email that you believe in transparency in government. I have to bring that to question, since the 8 emails that I've requested for the costs for Galloping Hill Country Club, I've yet to receive one answer. that cites any of those figures. And I really did not want to have to go through the Oprah to find out what these costs were. I wanted to save the county the expense of having to do all that when we could ask the county director of golf or director of finance to come up here and just open the ledger and tell all the taxpayers how much it costs to build those facilities. Again, I ask you again, what did it cost to build the facilities from soup to nuts? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me address the last part that you brought up, the barrage of emails that you have sent to me, and some that I have addressed and some that I have not addressed. And as I stated in one of the emails, it seems as if we were in a back and forth email barrage, which was not going anywhere. And to get a better understanding, I thought that you were going to be here last week and I can speak to you about it. You weren't. And the fact that I did request that, if you got here maybe 10 minutes earlier from this meeting, I would be more than happy to speak to you beforehand to make sure that, we were on the same page. Because obviously there's something that was amiss, because there was information that was provided to you and all, and no matter what information still was given to you, it was not connecting with what you needed. So I made that request, and unfortunately, and I checked out here today, a half an hour before, 15 minutes before, and even 10 minutes before the meeting to see if maybe we could have that meeting to make sure that you could get the information. And for somebody to send an email to me, I don't know whether it was the day or 2 days before the election, and that's when I chose not to respond anymore, to say that, you haven't responded to my email and it's right before you haven't made up your mind. At that point, I did not want it to be accused of me of saying I only answered to get your vote. So I chose not to answer those emails, and I responded after the election, and that's when I made the request. And then you still made some emails. At no point did you respond back and say, okay, I can't make it beforehand, or maybe set up another date that maybe we can sit and talk about it. Because I think everyone will agree, sometimes when you get into email and not really having that direct conversation, that, we're not interpreting what's being said, and you can also misread some of the things in it, because whether you want to say it or not, emails sometimes have a certain tone. So, and yes, I do believe in open transparency, and we will try to make sure that we provide the information. And I believe, and I have requested this information before, and I'll ask maybe County Council, the information that was provided, maybe October, County Manager, from October the 3rd was the request. There was information that came back later that was totally different. So if you choose to do the Oprah, that's what your choice is. If you'd like to have a conversation, we do have executive session today after this meeting, so we can try to arrange something else. But by no means, I really don't want you to, stand here and think that we get emails and we don't respond to them, because I had responded to it. And Mr. Bittner, I think you can agree to that was what has happened. So if you'd like to, again, after the meeting, okay, before we go into executive session, I can set something up and we can try to make sure that we can iron out and get you information that you need, if it was something the interpretation was not correct. Excuse me, now, if we'd like to go, and anybody else like to speak at this time?
Hi, Maria Etcheverry Elizabeth. Last month I went to the National Institute for People with Disabilities. It was a conference they had in Hackensack. I met a mom over there that told me that her son went to some type of a camp, that somebody sponsored her son to go to this camp. Now, if anybody knows the route around this or how to get to a sponsor, who wants to sponsor my angel, somebody let me know. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Anyone else at this time? Seeing no one, I'll close that portion of the meeting. I will now move over to Freeholder reports and comments. I will start with Freeholder Granados.
In reference to Bruce's remarks about my beard, this month is, just want to make sure we're all on the same page about this. This month is No Shave November. It's to bring awareness to people all across the country that men should get prostate cancer screening checks. That's number 2 cause of cancer in the United States among men. So I ask for you. You want to grow out your beard for the end of the month, for the rest of the month, and ask any individuals. Please go out, make sure you get a prostate cancer check. We really appreciate it. It's definitely a great, viable health thing to do. All right? You got it, you got it. We'll grow it out together. Don't worry about it. That's it.
Thank you. Freeholder Bergen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do want to congratulate you, Freeholder Kowalski and Freeholder Granados, on your re-election. I would say that Freeholder Granados, nobody can say ever again that you haven't been vetted by the voters, because you have been, and you were duly elected. So welcome back. I do want to just say thank you to Matt Dorado, who is leaving the county. I've known Matt for quite a while and have had the opportunity to work with him the last year, and we wish you the best of luck, and we will miss you. And finally, Mr. Moschetti, I enjoyed the parable that you read, which was handed to us just before the meeting, so I really didn't get a chance to digest it, but I would suggest to you that it really is not a representation of how the tax system works in this country, in this state, or in this county. It was interesting and it was fun, but I don't think it has anything to do with our tax structure. But I can't give you details because it's just too much to percolate in a few minutes. But thank you for reading that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Freeholder Jallo.
Thank you, Chairman. There's been talk about Code Blue today, and I just want to make sure, or I'd be remiss if I did not, on behalf of the board, thank all of those who participated in the Code Blue program, the award-winning, actually, 2009 Achievement Award from the National Association of Counties Code Blue program. If I didn't thank all of those involved for their participation in this amazing program that the county provides for our residents. Just this past Tuesday, it was a cold day and even colder evening, and life-threatening cold weather, and Code Blue was activated, and 16 people were off the streets and given shelter. And I thank all of those who were involved. I think this is a worthwhile program. I think all the speakers who spoke and referenced it agreed with that portion of it, and I'd like to thank all of those who have participated in it for their assistance. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Estrada.
No reports.
Thank you. Freeholder Kowalski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to say something about the solar energy projects, since one of the speakers mentioned it, and it is participated in by Cranford, Linden, Plainfield, Rahway, Roselle Board of Education, Berkeley Heights Board of Education, Garwood Board of Education, Hillside Board of Education, Roselle Park Board of Education, and Winfield Board of Education. It's the largest public-private solar project of its kind in the country. It is providing energy savings to all the participants, and so just wanted to set the record straight on that in addition to Ms. Taylor's comments. Just to remind people that the campaign about the one-seat ride on the Raritan Valley Railroad Coalition is continuing. There was some news coverage about this recently. It's about providing a direct rail connection to New York so that you don't have to change trains in Newark. And we have set up a link to the Raritan Valley Rail Coalition's website at you can go to our UCNJ website in the Parks and Community Development section, or you can go straight to the Raritan Valley website, raritanvalleyrail.com, just spelled out with no spaces. So the main goal of this website is to educate the officials, legislators, businesses, and residents about how important this service is, and it offers economic benefits to all of the towns that that have train stations along that line. It would increase property values in addition to shortening the commute. Be really a tremendous benefit to all of our residents. So the website has an action page that asks people to write and email your legislators, as well as New Jersey Transit, sign a petition. So the service is scheduled to start in the spring, but we have not been allocated as much of a percentage of the one-seat ride trains as our number of riders in this part of the rail line warrants. So we really encourage everyone to go to the website, raritanvalleyrail.com, and take action. As it says, click on the button. You can sign the petition, or you can write a letter or an email, and we will move forward and get the benefit of the one-seat ride. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Wright?
We'd just like to congratulate fellow freeholders and their hard work and successful election. And in fact, all the time continue those things that we've done. And I'd also like to take this time to thank our veterans, because this was a very special time this year, and I want you to know how much we appreciate that sacrifices.
Thank you. Freeholder Mirabella?
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of things from me. This Sunday, the 17th of November at 2 o'clock, will be the next installment of the Sensory Friendly Theater Series. Justin Roberts and the Not Ready for Nap Time players. I encourage anyone that has a child with a disability, autism, to come to that show. They've been well received and well attended, and provides a very friendly theater for them to participate and enjoy a show. It was part of one of my initiatives several years ago, and the series is designed according to guidelines to help reduce disturbances for children who experience heightened sensory sensitivity. We've worked with the Autism Friendly Spaces to design this series last year, and then moving on to this year. I'm glad Chairwoman Carter has continued that program. Make adjustments at each performance to suit the needs and special needs of our guests. I've attended several of these performances in the past, and some of the heartwarming letters I've received are from parents who thank the county, thank the theater for providing these kind of experiences for their children. Upcoming performances include the New Jersey Ballet, Sleeping Beauty, Aesop's Fables, starring puppeteer Jim West, and the Little Orchestra Society's Things That Go Bang. If you need more information, please look at the Union County Performing Arts website at ucpac.org. Also, most recently, last weekend, as a matter of fact, I attended the Hamilton stage performance of Bubble Boy. And anybody who wants to have a good time and a good laugh, I encourage you to look at that show and go to that theater. The Hamilton stage is right down the street from the Union County Arts Center. It's a thriving place for shows. This was a terrific performance, and it's going on the next 2 or 3 weekends. So you can check out more information at the UCPAC website as well. But that was a terrific show, and I encourage people that want to have a good time to take that in. I want to also congratulate Matt Dorado for all his years of service to this county, many, many years, most recently as our Administrative Services and Personnel Director. Matt, you'll be missed personally and professionally, although you're not going too far. Well, maybe to work you are, but not for, we'll see you around the county, I'm sure. But, I can't thank you enough for the hard work and dedication to the residents of this county, and you really, I'll be very sorry, as many of my colleagues have indicated. We'll miss you, and I do wish you all the best in your future endeavor. So good luck to you, Matt, and well done, job well done. Also have the opportunity to welcome Bill Reyes. I'm happy, Bill, that you're here. I'm looking forward to working with you and using your talents and expertise for this county's good. It's a good fit, and I think a good opportunity for us to take advantage of your expertise, and I'm looking forward to working with you, Bill. I want to congratulate also Chairwoman Carter, Freeholder Kowalski, and Freeholder Granis on their victory last week. It's interesting that our critics try to minimize that victory, but in a county where the governor won and you all won, certainly says something about the voters' intelligence and attitude towards looking at the ballot and making the right selections. And in this case, at the freeholder level, they were able to do that. So I appreciate your work. They can throw away the victory and say we're appointed, but we're on the ballot. We're before the voters. They select us year after year, and I appreciate the faith that they've put in me over many years, and the faith that they've put into the three of you for the next 3 years. So congratulations, and don't let anybody minimize that victory. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Freeholder Granados, you wanted to say something?
Yes, one more thing. Thanksgiving is around the corner, so I just asked residents to make a donation to your local food pantry. Also, myself and a lot of my colleagues here also have already mentioned, I do annual Thanksgiving baskets, and we're going to be making donations to Union County residents all across the county who are in need during the season. And also on Thanksgiving Day, we provide a Thanksgiving luncheon for free to residents and to people who are less fortunate on Thanksgiving on the 28th. So please make a donation, really appreciate it.
Thank you. County Manager, anything?
No report, Madam Chair.
Okay. I'm going to say Bob really for last this time. Vice Chairman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I want to congratulate our very own freeholder, Al Mirabella. He is going to be one of 2 special honorees tomorrow night at the Union County College Foundation as part of their 21st annual gala. A longtime supporter of our county educational institutions, the county college, the biggest cheerleader we have for our VOTEC program. He has supported the creation of innovative programs such as the Freeholder Scholar Program, College for Teens, Senior Scholars, programs that this board continues to support and fund. Tomorrow night at the Westwood, they'll be honoring him, and we're very proud of him, and the proceeds of that gala will benefit students who require financial aid. So a job well done, Freeholder, and we're very proud of you. Also, I wanted to extend my congratulations to Freeholder Kowalski and Freeholder Granados and Chairman Carter. It was a very good victory for you last Tuesday. We're very proud, and I also, just on a personal note, I was a bit offended before, and I appreciated how you explained your process over this, your back and forth with Mr. Bittner over the cost of the golf course. But I'm offended, frankly, the call in question Linda Carter's character in any way. She has gone above and beyond to answer that question, well far beyond what I would have done. You don't like the information you receive, you can interpret it the way you want, you can go get different information, you can try to refute it, you can do what you want. But that's your business, and I'm offended how you spoke to the chairman. She's gone above and beyond. Thank you, really.
Thank you.
Personally, want to go on
Excuse
record,
me,
and
like
I want the
to-
public to
excuse
know
me,
that
I'm sorry.
more polite
Excuse
in my
me,
res-
Mr.
in my
Bittner,
sending
we're
of
not gonna
emails
sit up here
to
and do this.
Mrs. Carter, and I
Mr.
got
Bittner.
no answers, no documents,
Bittner,
no
goodbye.
numbers.
Excuse me, would you like to leave also? Would you like to leave also? You can leave, Miss Renna. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Leave also stands in
We're
the
not-
back of the
please
room
ask her to
heckling
leave at this
residents.
point.
Your employees should
Renna,
behave
you do not
themselves.
write on that
It's a
microphone.
reflection on you.
Miss Renna. Thank you, Miss Renna. That's exactly how she's acting.
May I make a
Mr.
comment?
Patterson's a good one tonight. How about that?
The night's not over.
He spoke too soon.
County manager?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for the record also, my secretary, Charlotte Badri, did respond in an email to Mr. Bittner, and also provided some documentation relative to the question. So perhaps didn't feel it came from me. It came from my secretary on my behalf, but he was given a response along with some information.
Yes, he was given, he asked the question, that response was given. His emails to me were in reference to he did not feel he got his question answered. Okay, we went back and forth about it, and that's why I asked to meet with him, because obviously the emails were not working. Unfortunately, he's not seeing that may have been a way for us to resolve and get him the information, and it's unfortunate. So, sorry, can't do anything about it right now. I'm going to take an opportunity at this time to really thank one of our directors, Matt Dorado, who 15 years has been with the county for 15 years and has truly, since the day he walked in here, has truly shown professionalism, who has really worked very hard for not just those that work here for Union County, but also who live here in Union County, who has really reached out to many individuals. You will be, I'm very happy for you. You're on a new journey in your life. I commend you. I'm wishing you much, much wellness in your new beginning. But it won't be the end for us. I do believe you will still be here in the county, thriving here in the county and really doing a lot of things. You've helped a lot of individuals, and you truly have helped strengthen a lot of the things that we have done. You've worn two hats at one time in these last roles that you've had over the last couple of years, which we do appreciate, and truly have grown as an individual in all that you do. So thank you for the job that you've done. It's been an outstanding job that you've done here in the county, and I really wish you well as you move on in the next journey. So thank you so much. I want to also take an opportunity to thank our vets who, as Freeholder Wright said, has done so much for our country, and remembering them this past Monday, we will always remember them. Congratulations again to Freeholder Al Mirabella. The work that you do here in the county speaks for itself, but being recognized and really people appreciating some of the things that we do, and especially what you have done. So congratulations to you. Welcome, Bill. Look forward. I'm sure that, now that you got a really great taste of some of the questions that you'll be asked, I hope you're up for the challenge, and I'm sure that you will be. Now, before I turn it over for our executive session, I'd just like to also remind everybody, we have the Union County Commission on Status of Women is accepting applications for its 2014 Women of Excellence Awards. The deadline is December the 1st, 2013. The Women of Excellence nominations are open to all women 21 years or older who reside in or are employed in Union County. They also should have distinguished themselves in the fields of arts and humanities, business, entrepreneurial, community service, education, government, law, law enforcement, medicine, healthcare, or women's advocacy. The dinner will take place on Friday, March 21st at 6:30 p.m. at Galloping Hill Caterers in Union. If you'd like additional information, you can always go to, I believe, our website, www.ucnj.org, or you can go right ahead and contact Jane O'Hara at JOHARA1217@gmail.com. And the Women of Excellence website is actually ucnj2.org. The nominations forms and supporting documentations must be submitted by the deadline, and that is December the 1st. So please, I know we have so many wonderful women in Union County that are exceptional, and I'm hoping that they are fluttered with many nominations for all the great work that we do here in the county, because we are truly empowered. So I'm hoping we get lots of nominations, and look forward to seeing who actually has been nominated and actually has been wins. So I'm pretty much done. Freeholders, anything else for you all at the moment? No, then I'm going to turn it over to our county council, and he can make his statement relative to tonight's executive session. See why I wanted to end with you, county council? Ah, now you got it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, public body may enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing certain enumerated subjects. This board now wishes to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing attorney-client privilege communication relative to ongoing litigation regarding LaPolla versus County of Union, and attorney-client privilege communication relative to ongoing litigation regarding Colbeck versus the County of Union. Minutes of the executive session shall be separated from the minutes of the open public session. The minutes of the executive session, redacted as appropriate and necessary, shall be available in approximately 30 days. The clerk to the board shall retain the original minutes until such time as the confidential limitations have been removed, at which time they shall be made available. Upon the affirmative vote of a majority of the members present, the board may retire to executive session. Upon the board's return, it will not take any formal action on the matters discussed.
Thank you. May I have a motion to enter into executive session?
Second.
Been moved by Freeholder Mirabella, second by Freeholder Jallo. May I have a roll call, please?
Freeholder Bergen.
Aye.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Yes.
Freeholder Jallo.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella. Freeholder Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Hudak.
Yes.
And Chairman Carter.
Aye.
You have 9 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. We are now in executive session.
It's okay, that happened my first.
Agenda meeting?
Second.
It's been moved by Freeholder Mirabella, seconded by Freeholder Estrada. May I have a roll call, please?
Freeholder Bergen.
Yes.
Freeholder Estrada.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Yes.
Freeholder Jallo.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Mirabella. Freeholder Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Hudak.
Aye.
And Chairman Carter.
Aye.
With that vote, Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. Freeholders, do you have anything else? Oh, I'm sorry, yes. County Council?
Thank you,
Go
Madam.
right ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With reference to the executive session the record should reflect that Freeholder Bergen recused himself from the discussions for reasons he advised the board.
Thank
Other
you.
than that, I have no comments.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Freeholders, anything else? May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
It's been moved by Vice Chair, second by Freeholder Mirabella. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposing? We are adjourned.